Penguin Random House Audio presents The Code, Silicon Valley and the Remaking of America by Margaret O'Mara. Read for you by Nan Mcnamara. Want to know why I carry this tape recorder? It's to tape things. I'm an idea man, Chuck, all right? I've got ideas all day long. I can't control them. It's like they come charging in. I can't even fight them off if I wanted to. Night Shift, 1982. On behalf of the future, I ask you of the past to leave us alone. You are not welcome among us. You have no sovereignty where we gather. John Perry Barlow, A Declaration of the Independence of Cyberspace, 1996. The machine that is everywhere hailed as the very incarnation of the new had revealed itself to be not so new after all, but a series of skins, layer on layer, winding around the messy, evolving idea of the computing machine. Ellen Ullman, Life in Code, 1998. Introduction. The American Revolution. 3 billion smartphones, 2 billion social media users, $2 trillion companies, San Francisco's tallest skyscraper, Seattle's biggest employer, the 4 most expensive corporate campuses on the planet, the richest people in the history of humanity. The benchmarks attained by America's largest technology companies in the twilight years of the 21st century's second decade boggle the imagination. Added together, the valuations of tech's so-called Big Five, Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Google Alphabet, and Microsoft, total more than the entire economy of the United Kingdom. Tech moguls are buying storied old media brands, starting transformative philanthropies, and quite literally shooting the moon. After decades of professed diffidence toward high politics, the elegant lines of code hacked out in West Coast cubicles have seeped into the political system's every corner, sowing political division as effectively as they target online advertising. Few people had heard of Silicon Valley and the electronics firms that clustered there when a trade paper journalist decided to give it that snappy nickname in early 1971. America's centers of manufacturing, of finance, of politics were 3,000 miles distant on the opposite coast. Boston outranked Northern California in money raised, markets ruled, and media attention attracted. Even 10 years later, when personal computers mushroomed on office desks and boy-wonder entrepreneurs with last names like Jobs and Gates seized the public imagination, the valley itself remained off to the side of the main action. An ochre haze of smog hung over its tidy bedroom suburbs when the wind didn't blow right. Its dun-colored office buildings were impossible to tell apart. And you were out of luck if you tried to order dinner in a restaurant past 8:30 p.m. One horrified British visitor called it the land of polyester hobbitry. Keeping the hobbits, but losing some of the sleepiness, the valley and its sister technopolis of Seattle soared to staggering heights in the dot-com 1990s. The largest single legal creation of wealth we've witnessed on the planet, quipped venture capitalist John Gore, only to plummet to earth as the new millennium dawned with a massive NASDAQ pummeling pop, leaving the carcasses of once shining internet companies strewn across the landscape. Magazine cover stories declared the end of the mania. Grim-faced analysts switched their buy ratings to sell, and Wall Street attention shifted back to the more predictable rhythms of blue-chip stalwarts. The rocketing rise of Amazon felt like a fever dream. Apple had run out of product ideas. Microsoft had been ordered to split itself in two, and Google was a garage operation whose leaders seemed more interested in going to Burning Man than turning a profit. How quickly things change. Fast forward to the present, and Silicon Valley is no longer merely a place in Northern California. It is a global network, a business sensibility, a cultural shorthand, a political hack. Hundreds of places around the world have rebranded themselves Silicon deserts, forests, roundabouts, steppes, and wadis as they seek to capture some of the original's magic. Its rhythms dictate how every other industry works, alter how humans communicate, learn, and collectively mobilize, upend power structures and reinforce many others. As one made-in-the-valley billionaire, Mark Andreessen, put it a few years back, software is eating the world. This book is about how we got to that world eaten by software. It's the 7-decade-long tale of how one verdant little valley in California cracked the code for business success, repeatedly defying premature obituaries to spawn one generation of tech after another, becoming a place that so many others around the world have tried and failed to replicate. It also is a history of modern America, of political fracture and collective action, of extraordinary opportunity and suffocating prejudice, of shuttered factories and surging trading floors, of the marble halls of Washington and the concrete canyons of Wall Street. For these, as you shall see, were among the many things that made Silicon Valley possible, and that were remade by Silicon Valley in return. From the first moment that Silicon Valley burst into the public consciousness, it was awash in revolutionary anti-establishment metaphors. Start your own revolution with a personal computer, read an ad for the new Personal Computing magazine in 1978. The personal computer represents the last chance for that relic of the American Revolution, our continent's major contribution to human civilization. The entrepreneur, proclaimed the tech industry newsletter InfoWorld in 1980. 4 years later, as they prepared to announce the new Macintosh computer to the public, Apple executives focused on marketing messages that emphasized the radical, revolutionary nature of the product. One result was one of the most famous pieces of television advertising in history, the jaw-dropping spot broadcast into millions of American living rooms during the 1984 Super Bowl, when a lithe young woman ran through a droning audience, hurled a hammer at a Big Brother-like image projected on a blue screen, and shattered it. The barely veiled punch at IBM, Apple's chief rival, reflected a broader anti-establishment streak in this techie rhetoric that went beyond marketing plans and ad slogans. Mistrust authority, promote decentralization, read one plank of the hacker ethic journalist Stephen Levy used in 1984 to describe the remarkable new subculture of hardware and software geeks who had helped make the computer personal. Authority meant big blue, big business, and big government. It was the perfect message for the times. After more than 10 years of unrelentingly dismal business news, plant shutdowns, blue-collar jobs vanishing overseas, fumbling corporate leaders, and the pummeling of American brands by foreign competitors, high-tech companies presented a bright, promising contrast. Instead of exhausted middle managers and embittered hard hats, there were flashy executives like James Jimmy T. Trabig of Tandem Computers, who threw weekly beer parties for his staff and held alfresco press briefings beside the company's swimming pool. There were CEOs like Jerry Sanders of Advanced Micro Devices, AMD, who bought a Rolls-Royce one week and a top-of-the-line Mercedes the next. And, of course, there were Steve Jobs of Apple and Bill Gates of Microsoft, who came to exemplify a new sort of corporate leader, young, nonconformist, and astoundingly rich. Then there was the man who gave his name to the era, Ronald Reagan, crusader against big government, defender of deregulated markets, standard-bearer of what he called the decade of the entrepreneur. For the great communicator, no place or industry better exemplified American free enterprise at work than Silicon Valley, and he was particularly enthusiastic.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?